Bermuda, an emerald jewel, anchored by the shattered hulls of 1,000 lost voyages. For centuries, these reefs have been a graveyard for those who dared to gamble with the Atlantic. The Great Sound becomes SailGP's racetrack, where the price of a podium is paid in risk. Push for one extra click of speed and get it right, you're a hero.
So good.
Push too far, and you become just another wreck in Bermuda's waters. Tom Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Roos arrive clear at the top, but can they hold on to first place? Will Emirates GBR bounce back? Can the United States claw their way into contention? Or will Bermuda deliver a new contender to the podium? It's all to play for at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best, yes. Powered by nature, raw passion, all action. When it takes, racing on water, racing with impact. Give it all, everything, give it all, everything. We are racing. When it takes, we are SailGP.
Located in the North Atlantic, the island nation of Bermuda is a premier destination for sailing, as its topography makes it an ideal setting for breezy and predictable sailing conditions for those brave enough to try and tame these waters. Needless to say, sailing here is not for the faint of heart. Welcome to Scenic Bermuda and the 5th event of the 2026 SailGP season. This is the 4th time the league has come to this spectacular setting, and with a long history of hosting world-class sailing events, Bermuda once again will host the planet's best sailors with its pink sand beaches and crystal clear waters as the backdrop. As the season nears the halfway point, every result will be the key this weekend for any team that has dreams of a championship season. Alongside former Emirates GBR athlete Hannah Diamond and Olympian Stevie Morrison, I'm Todd Harris. Welcome to the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix. Following this weekend showdown in the North Atlantic, the lead heads north to New York City before we return to Halifax, Canada. Then it's on to the European leg of Season 6 with stops in the UK, Germany, Spain, and Switzerland before the final home stretch in the Middle East, where a season champion will be crowned in the winner-takes-all grand final at the end of November. Let's get you up to speed on what has happened so far in Season 6 of the 2026 Rolex SailGP Championship.
The 2026 SailGP season is well underway, and the Bonds Flying Roos have emerged as the leaders of the largest F-50 fleet the league has ever seen.
Look at the Bonds Flying Roos, Todd.
After a second-place finish at the opener in Perth and a victory in Auckland, they delivered an emphatic display on Super Sunday in Rio de Janeiro. 4 wins from 4 races.
What a Super Sunday for the Bonds Flying Roos, as they are absolutely perfect.
A 7-point gap now gives them a slight cushion over Emirates GBR, and it's the first time we've seen a team truly break away at the top.
We had a great day, second day of Rio, and we're able to obviously win the Rio event and then move up the standings 4 events down, and we're in a really nice position.
But the tide can turn quickly. Following an impressive follow-up to their 2025 championship, Emirates GBR just posted their worst result in SailGP history.
It's been a good learner for us. We've gone away, we've looked at everything, and we really can't wait to get out here racing and see what we can make of the weekend.
Sitting 3rd in the overall standings, the United States SailGP team. They've turned their campaign around and answered the critics with the only thing that matters: results. They remained in the top half of the fleet during the opening 2 rounds, followed by a dominant display in the unusually light air of Sydney Harbour.
We're getting better and improving all the time, and yeah, to get a win, it's huge.
While they ultimately missed the podium in Rio to take 4th, their momentum is undeniable. In the mid-pack, the points are incredibly tight. Los Gallos, Artemis and DS Automobiles Team France are separated by just 2 points. For the teams in the bottom 3rd, there is still plenty of time to gain ground. This season is far from over, and as we know, everything can change in a heartbeat.
And the Black Foils collide. They lost the boat there.
Meanwhile, the Black Foils will not compete this weekend. They eagerly await a new F50 from SailGP Technologies later this year.
So with a third of the 2026 season now complete, is a familiar face in a familiar place. Tom Slingsby and his three-time champion Bonds Flying Roos have the overall lead, 7 points clear of second place, and the defending champions Emirates GBR. Third place belongs to the US SailGP team and their driver Taylor Canfield. Season 4 champions Los Gallos Spain hold down fourth. New team Artemis round out the top 5, tied with DS Team France. Then it's Rockwell Racing, Germany, Deutsche Bank, and Red Bull Italy. It has not been a kind season for the bottom 4 teams here in Season 6.
Well, day one here in Bermuda, and we're going to see 4 races for the fleet out there on the Great Sound. Beautiful flat water conditions for the racing today. There'll be 3 more races for the boats tomorrow. Accumulating points is the key. 10 if you win the race, only 1 if you're at the back, none if you're in the final 2. Accumulate the points, and then those top 3 boats in the standings will go to the winner-takes-all event final.
The stunning waters of the Great Sound is the setting for this weekend's racing. Teams will fight for position on the start line and try to take the lead at Mark 1 before turning towards Gate 2, where they can choose to turn either left or right. From here, they'll head up towards Gate 3, which will complete the first lap. Conditions today are absolutely perfect for the F50, but that means that the level of execution will have to be really high and there is no room for error. Finding space to sail the boat fast will be essential. Start behind the fleet, and it's going to be tough to catch up.
So the time has nearly come to kick things off here on day number 1 of the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix on the Great Sound. There are the teams that will be participating. We check in with the latest information for the 4th member of our team. Here's Olympic silver medalist down on the water, Lisa Darmanin.
It is an ideal day for racing here on the water in Bermuda. We have it blowing from the east, 24 kilometers per hour, gusting up to 30, and silky, smooth, flat water, so it's full send mode. Setup-wise, we've got the high-speed T-foils, we've got the high-speed rudders, and in the air, we've got the all-purpose wing and medium-sized jib at the front. I do have some breaking news though. Unfortunately, Artemis have had an issue pre-racing. They heard a loud noise and they've actually had to retire for the day. So they've returned to the tech site. They were on the crane and trying to assess the situation. So no racing for them today, which is such a shame. But I tell you what, for the 11 F50s left out here, it's going to be incredible. A little bit gusty, a little bit challenging, but who is going to push the F50s the most?
And we are now under 90 seconds away from the first of 4 races scheduled today on the Great Sound here at the Rolex SailGP Championship. And all set to go with only 11 teams now out on the water. Remember, New Zealand unable to go because of the incident they had earlier this year. And now we just heard from Lisa down on the water that Sweden will not be able to participate today as they have craned out, and they will try to fix that and be ready for tomorrow on Super Sunday. So 1 minute to go. Hannah, where do you want to be as you look at the winds out here? It's going to be very tricky.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky, but it's a great day for racing out in the Great Sound in Bermuda. I think the boats are going to be lining up, learning a little bit about the race course in this first race, but they've got to prioritize that start and try and get to Mark 1 as fast as possible.
All right, Stevie, this is the dance, the calm before the storm. You want to get a great start here on race number 1. It's all about accumulating points. 4 races today, and we now approach 30 seconds to go before the start of the first race.
Yeah, on board Mubadala Brazil here as they come in towards the start line. Well positioned at the moment. They look like they're towards the downwind end of the line. They're actually in the middle of the fleet there. We see the Brazilian boat. Emirates GBR a little bit back, as of France. They're going to look to wind it up. Top of the line, the Rolex Pole Predictor sits on board Canada. If they get their timing right here, they could really have some speed to Mark 1. Midline, Rockwell, Denmark. Bottom of the line, Germany. They're going to line things up. We're looking for the line to turn white and find out which team's going to nail this first start here in Bermuda. United States out of the top of the line. What a start by Canfield, but he's going to have to be brave on this first leg to Mark 1 if they want to lead. Can they roll around the top of Rockwell, Denmark?
Just for the boy, press. Turn up, you'll be clear ahead.
And as they approach mark number 1, they go 3 wide with Lady Liberty out in front. The Americans will get the whole shot in race 1.
Oh, North Star as well, and Rockwell, Denmark, two of the teams that need a huge event here in Bermuda. Great start by the United States. Canfield, he's been the starting king this season, and he nailed that start. North Star head towards the boundary. They'll be looking to line things up.
And getting closer, stand by.
Gate 2 is going to come pretty quick in these conditions, Todd, but it's going to be about executing perfect manoeuvres. These are easy conditions to sail the F50, but you've got to push the boats to the edge if you want to be fast enough here.
So Hannah, does that dispel the rumor that Taylor Canfield and the U.S. are just light wind specialists?
Yeah, I think they've got a little bit to prove this weekend to make sure that that's not the case, but a really great start from them. And like Stevie said, the execution this weekend needs to be really high. Relatively easy conditions to sail the boat, so they've got to be 100%.
Leg 2 of 7. It's the USA, North Star Canada, then Rockwell, Denmark, Germany, Deutsche Bank. The Australians, the winners of the last event, currently sit in 5th, and the defending champions from last year, Emirates GBR, are in 6th.
We're going to learn a lot about the course on this first upwind leg. Imagine the USA are going to want to go straight if they can. Yeah, they keep it simple. We'll see the first boats to split away. North Star, good call to follow there. Try and keep some space. It'll be Germany, Deutsche Bank, the first boat to turn right. Find out where more windmills on the course, I'd imagine, after that. But there's a lot of teams that need a good result or in that first 4 boats there. Canadian fans, well, it's been a long time since they've seen the front of the fleet. They'll be loving that.
Stevie, is this a course where there's passing opportunities? We talk about that a lot. Some courses, if you don't get the lead at the start, you got no shot.
Yeah, I mean, this is an awesome course, Todd. It's a little bit bigger. You can really stretch your legs. You can get some boat speed. Hannah's going to be able to sort of really give us an idea of the speeds and the setups of the boat out there. And I think what we saw in practice yesterday is there are some shifts. You see the darker patches on the water. I mean, it's Bermuda, isn't it? So it looks like it's all turquoise and perfect. But occasionally, when the camera angle comes right, you see the darker patch on the water and the boats can find more wind. And right at the minute, Hannah, it looks like there's more breeze out where the Canadians are.
Yeah, it does, definitely on that right-hand side of the course, top of the screen. But I think it looked like the Germans had to stretch quite a long way to make that right turn.
Penalty GBR, port tack boat not keeping clear, go behind Spain.
Emirates GBR made an early maneuver on this upwind leg, and so now they get a penalty, have to drop behind Los Gallos, Spain, and they did not need that as they will drop back now into 6th place. Let's go down on the water. Lisa Darman, and Lisa, you had a chance to be out on the water yesterday. Where is the favorite part of this course, and do you like where the Americans are sailing?
At down speed.
Yeah, where the Americans are sailing, they're just kind of, in front of them there's an island, and the wind is funneling around the island, but they're on the good side of the island at the moment, where the wind is able to sort of pump through. So they're really nicely lined up for this gate. But you know, one thing out here, everyone's sailing the F50s to the full potential, not making that many mistakes. So if you're out in front, it is just so much easier. So amazing to see the Americans just absolutely commanding this race.
Stevie, is this what you call glamour racing?
That's what you call pretty much perfect, don't you? I think what's interesting so far is all the boats that can towards the front of the fleet have really stretched wide to the boundary early on, and that means as they get towards the top of the course, they're closer to the land, the wind will be a little bit shiftier.
Very puffy right now, just watch the can, very puffy.
There you go, Tom Johnson doing it for me there. Very puffy, just means it's changing direction and pressure quite a lot as they get near the line. Germany here, Germany, Deutsche Bank have done a nice job. They've gained slight miss in that manoeuvre there by the US. Nothing too disastrous, but you see that white plume of water. They touched down, got a little slow, but they're going to wind the speed up here. So Germany, Deutsche Bank kept out of phase with the leaders. They're up to 2nd. They've passed North Star.
And at gate 3, it is still the US SailGP team. Germany Deutsche Bank has now moved in 2nd place. The Australians have dropped back a little bit as they will split the course. North Star Canada, good position, as is Rockwell, Denmark.
Todd, I love where the Australians are going, though. You split the course, you get out of phase. I feel like that the Germans were out of phase on that upwind, Hannah, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, and it didn't look like initially it was going to work, but I think, like you say, getting out of phase, having the space to sail the boat really nicely can pay massive dividends in these conditions.
Yeah, just I threw in the word phase around there. I think ultimately what we're talking about is if some of the boats are going right to left, you're going left to right. You're sort of opposite to them. The wind is varying out here, but what's key is you can push the boat to the absolute limit. They say, Todd, if you're not right on the edge, you're taking up too much space, and you've got to be on the edge today.
Stevie, let's talk about where Germany Deutsche Bank is right now. How much disturbed air are they getting right now, and do you think they're already talking about splitting the course and going away from where the Americans go at this next gate?
Yeah, I think right now they'll be just, well, as they drop down to their line, they might be getting a little bit of disturbed wind. They'll be getting more and more as they come down. They're in a big gust of wind. You see that dark patch there they're in right now, so they're actually going pretty quick. They'll decide what, depending on what US do. If US go straight, I imagine Germany might do a right turn and look to find some space.
And turning up.
Oh, they're going to follow him.
They do follow. There you go. Keep it simple, stupid. That was the answer to that one. I guess early on in the race, they obviously like what they see with the left turn. They're going to follow. They'll be happy to take a second.
And Hannah, if you're the Americans, if it ain't broke, why fix it? But this is the same course they took to open things up. They're going the same path. They must like what they're seeing as far as the numbers go on that side of the course.
Yeah, and I think this weekend's going to be a little bit about really minimizing maneuvers, mapping your way around the course. We can see on the screen now there's a different color of arrows. So the yellow arrows means there's slightly more wind than the kind of greeny, bluey colors. So it gives us an indication of how much pressure is on the course where the boats are.
Pressing.
On board the Bonds Flying Ruse, a tense moment there as Spain has to dip behind to avoid that collision, and the Australians are back in 7th place with Los Gallos in 6th.
Spain, behind.
They'll get a penalty, the Australians there. Spain have kept clear of Rockwool Denmark for me on that incident. But yeah, Australia tacked. They turned the boat onto port. We see this here. Spain are coming around the mark. There go the Bonds Flying Ruse on our replay, bottom right-hand corner. And you see the dramatic change of direction. Now, sometimes we call that Hollywood overacting, but I don't think there was too much acting from Diego there.
Your boat here.
So back to live racing action. Race number 1, we are scheduled for 4 today. This is like 5 of 7. It's the USA just under 100-meter lead over Germany. Deutsche Bank, North Star Canada. Their driver, Giles Scott, Olympic gold medalist, currently sitting in 3rd.
Yeah, and I think the teams will be looking to set up a left turn at the top if they can. That should mean they get an easy downwind angle. Americans will be happy. We're talking about phasing. Right now they're in the same phase. They're both going the same direction. Emirates GBR, they're finding a bit of space, but this late in the race, you've got to love the US position, then.
Yeah, definitely. And I think last time they actually made a bit of a mistake in that they really slowed the boat down to try and make that right turn. This time they want to commit to that left so they can just sail fast, but some unforced errors coming on board the US team there.
Tell the Rolex chase time right around 6 seconds as they make this maneuver. This will be the final one before gate number 5. USA SailGP team currently 3rd overall in the standings, and they have the lead here in the first race of the day.
Yeah, North Star are coming in here. They're going to be well set, but they've got to get just across in front of Germany. I don't think North Star will do it. Tricky tactical moment for them. They'll look to go right at the top. Beautifully judged by Giles Scott and the team there. They're going to split away. They will come back towards the German team with the right of way, but more manoeuvres to be done by Canada on this downwind leg.
Look at the speed of the Americans. They were sitting at 35 kilometers an hour just moments ago. They catch that wind as they go through the gate, and now they're over 70.
Last downwind leg towards the turning mark before the finish here. You can see Andrew Campbell, right-hand side of our screen. He's looking out where the course is there, trying to keep an eye on things. Set up for the manoeuvre. Now, you've got to just nail this manoeuvre, Taylor, and this is the race win coming in here.
And turning. And yours. How fast? Yeah, let's get going. Yeah, I mean.
Interesting to see how North Star Canada comes back across here. They've manoeuvred a little bit earlier, so they must have got to that boundary a little bit quicker, but they're coming back in quite nice pressure from the top of the screen there.
Yeah, they have the right of way here as well. They've got the top of the mast there, 75 kilometers an hour versus 70 on Germany, so they've got a fast mode on North Star. They're wound up. They will have an extra maneuver to do. Good shift, good pressure for North Star. Chance for an overtake.
Happy to slowly roll down. Mark is up 45. Copy.
Here we go. Canada have got to nail this. If they've got to stay ahead, they have the right of way now. And
here we go.
Oh, he's putting the pressure. Germany have got to keep clear. You've got to keep clear, Germany. Surely too little, too late by Germany. Deutsche Bank. Aggressive manoeuvring by Giles Scott on board the Canadian boat. Classic match race manoeuvre.
Good job.
And race number 1, tense moments at the end here at the Great Sound, but the first race of the day here at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix goes the way of the Stars and Stripes. USA SailGP win the first race here on day 1.
How are we going to get out of
Okay,
here?
now I think rules-wise, North Star Canada will have got the right of way there, but because it's a lead change penalty, the penalty would have gone on and off instantly, so that's why we haven't seen it go up there. We haven't heard anything from the umpires, but I think that's because the penalty just goes on and off. Great work by Giles Scott, aggressive.
So Germany will have to settle for 3rd place. 4th will go to Los Gallos, Spain. Red Bull Italy in a tight one right now with Emirates GBR. And look at this, Dylan Flesher pushing Phil Roberts and the Italians wide as Emirates GBR will pick up 5th.
Todd, points matter so much. Single points when we get to the end of the qualification series tomorrow. Absolutely crucial, and that one place for Emirates GBR could be massive. Spain as well. They work their way all the way back up to 4th. Simple, excellent execution.
It's all we could have done there. We sailed clean.
So the Swiss will settle for 10th place. Remember, we are down to 11 boats with the retirement of Artemis, and of course, the Black Foils unable to go because their boat's still under repair.
Left turn. Gonna tack around the mark.
Yeah, the Swiss
Turning,
boat.
yep.
Bit of new livery on there. Sponsored by Explorer there on the wing sail for the Swiss team. Good to see, but they'll be looking for a bit of a change in results, unfortunately.
Happy to take it down here. Happy to take it down.
And Martini Grail and Brazil come across the line. So race number 1 is now complete as the USA pulls off a beautiful race here in the first race of the day. We're able to go down on the water now. Taylor Canfield and his crew. Taylor, congratulations on a great opener. The plan obviously was to come in and shock the rest of the fleet and get that win right out of the gate. What were you seeing in the start box?
It's you know, pretty puffy ship in the bay here in the Great Sound. So you know, just staying away from boats and having a nice run up to the line was the goal. So yeah, we nailed the time, and I think the clock said 0 time to burn. So no, we can't really beat that.
Taylor, you do seem to be the start master, but that guy next to you, Mike Menninger, you've definitely got some boat speed nowadays. You look pretty fast around that course.
Definitely, the whole team's doing a great job. We're super pleased with how we're sailing the boat. You know, from boat speed to maneuvers. One minor blunder at the top of that second lap, but you know, just a funky thing up underneath the island there. So we'll keep our eyes open, but overall, pretty good.
Taylor, what kind of data are you getting? Are you expecting the same conditions for the next 3 races today on day number 1?
I mean, everything we've seen has very similar conditions. So, yeah, it's beautiful out here right now, and we expect a little bit more of the same.
Taylor, appreciate the time. We'll see you in race number 2. So it's USA SailGP team that get the win in race number 1 to open up the weekend here at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix.
We take a look back at the highlights from race 1, and it was the top of the line, so the bottom of our screen, which had the most space, allowing the US SailGP team to really time distance, get an amazing start. We've said this weekend is going to be all about execution. Coming off the line with speed and getting to Mark 1 in a good position is going to make the race so much easier to execute for these teams. First 3 boats went round the mark, pushed all the way to the boundary, and then it was going to be a case of whether they could make it all the way to gate 2 and make a left turn straight away. What that did was it forced the next group, including Germany Deutsche Bank, to make a decision and follow whether to follow or whether to split. And it was Germany Deutsche Bank who were the first boat to split away, and ultimately that ended up being a pretty good decision and put them in better contention for the rest of the race, Stevie.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think just finding space is pretty hard when you're back in the pack, and then it comes down to execution. What a moment this was by Giles Scotty. He almost gave him a little bit of a rope-a-dope, dropped the board, pretended he was going to manoeuvre, held a second longer, and Germany weren't ready for it. So some really aggressive racing. Team that caught my eye was Los Gallos, the Spanish. Did nothing special, did everything perfectly, overtook a boat a leg, back up to 4th.
And the Emirates fly time goes the way of the aforementioned Los Gallos, the champions from season 4, 100% up on the foils. So Diego Botín and company, who look so good in practice racing, come out and deliver a top 4 performance here on day number 1. Remember, it's all about accumulating points to see where you could be on Super Sunday. We're just getting started here in Bermuda. We've got 3 more races to go as the Rolex SailGP Championship rolls on.
In 2025, the Black Foils took a big gamble. They brought in new young blood with Leo Takahashi as flight controller. You know, Leo grew up in New Zealand, so it was sort of like a natural fit and kind of really cool to see them backing younger talent and bringing them into the Black Foils. I guess in a way, it's a blessing and a curse being Leo. On one side, you've had Pete and Blair, these legends of the sport, pick you to be on their team. But in the same light, that's a whole lot of pressure for a young sailor.
Do you think you won for a ride? No, at mid-pod position.
The first Grand Prix of the season hasn't even started yet. This is practice, and the best sailors in the world are struggling. For flight controllers like Leo Takahashi, these conditions are an absolute nightmare.
There's 6 roles on the boat. My role as a flight controller is to take the boat into the air, but then also keep it in the air, and that's what we call foiling.
You're just doing everything you can to move your boat out of the way, but you can't just kind of teleport it out of existence. So as soon as he started to swing up, I knew it was going to be very close.
Collision and a big crash in the middle. Oh, massive misjudgment there by the Blackfields. They did not have the right of way on Switzerland.
2 boats involved, and there is a piece of one of them.
Oh, that's the back of the Blackfoils, I think, Todd.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
Just another beautiful day here in Bermuda as the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix opens up 2 days of racing on the Great Sound. This is event number 5 of the 2026 season, all part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. Alongside Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, Lisa Darman, and I'm Todd Harris. Fans are on their feet on a beautiful day here, and the conditions have been reported as glam as we approach 2 minutes to go before the start of the second race of 4 here scheduled on these beautiful turquoise waters. Under 2 minutes to go before we kick things off here in race number 2, and we will see 11 boats out on the water. It was Italy, though, earlier today that possibly, Stevie and Hannah, might have been another boat that unable to go because they had quite the incident prior to the start of today's racing.
Yeah, I think there's been some pretty strong gusts out there, so flight controllers, drivers, got to be pretty careful how they're sailing the boat.
Yeah, he just flew the boat a bit too high then. I mean, that just like they were pushing a little bit too high on the flight control, so quite interesting. I think it will be in the detail, and mistakes like this you can't make. We've had some interesting stats come back off the racecourse. All the teams can map out the start and plan the way around the racecourse. We saw that the Americans took the left turn at the bottom. There's a 4-second gain to that left turn, but if you're in the pack, a right turn, it's only a 4-second loss. You can make that up with boat speed.
1 minute to go before the start of race number 2 here on the Great Sound. It's Australia, the first ones to report for duty. The Americans sit in the middle of the pack. Winners of the first race. Remember, it was USA, Canada, Germany, your top 3 finishers in race number 1, and it's all about points here in SailGP.
Yeah, we're on board the Spanish boat coming back to the start here, Todd. Look at how fast the action is in this pre-start. Split-second decisions here. There we can see the US team. They've been the absolute start masters so far this season. Emirates GBR, they switch it up. They're going to split from the fleet, trying to find that space. They're late into the box. Time to manoeuvre back, Emirates GBR. Okay, Dylan there, they're turning right, they're pressing from there, I think. USA, mid-line, well positioned again, somehow found space amongst the carnage. Bottom of the line, Rockwell, Denmark, Mubadala, Brazil move through. Right, now they wind it up. Now we've got 9 seconds to go. They're blasting already at full speed towards the line. 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, and we go on race 2 here in Bermuda. That's absolute perfection from the USA again, but he's got Slingsby on the inside. Can they roll over the top of the Australian team before Mark 1? It's a pure drag race.
We'll be inside. Denmark will be inside.
What a start that was, Tom.
I was going to say, if you liked race number 1, race number 2 is even better. This time 4 wide as they approach mark number 1, and it looks like it will be the Bons Flying Roos, the winners of the last event in Rio, that get the whole shot.
Oh, that was Hans Henken versus Jason Waterhouse, the 2 flight controllers. Who would be bravest? Waterhouse held on the inside. Bons Flying Roos are gone. How can they execute from here?
And board down in 2, 1 board. And turning.
Looks like the breeze is up a little bit from that first race there, so that will change kind of the geometry of the course a little bit, and it does look like it'll be easier to get that one manoeuvring into that left turn.
Oh, Canada had a mismanoeuvre there, Todd. They've gone outside boundary. There'll be a penalty. They looked a bit scrappy. They got rushed into their manoeuvre. Yeah, they've got to lose 20 metres here. You've got to turn up towards the wind, sail a bit of extra distance. Top of screen, Los Gallos. They found some space in the pack and they've got good pressure. Emirates GBR, this is going to be a tussle of a race here. We've got the big players all at the front of the fleet here. Australia are going to turn left, I think, Todd, but who's going to split in the pack?
So here we go, gate number 2, the DP World Gate. It is the Bonds Flying Rouge, the overall leaders on the series right now. They are going to opt for the left-hand side, and this is where it gets a little chaotic.
Yeah, it's going to be a complex mover for Emirates GBR. They're going to have to do a double board drop. North Star Canada have got to give them room. They're going to go around the outside. Rockwell split the course here. Rockwell... Oh, going to have some space. North Star now gain the right of way over Emirates GBR. It's messy on board the British boat at gate 2.
Can't lift that board. We've got the Canadians on us. Press, reset. Yeah.
Oh, you could hear the
And
frustration in
both
Dylan's
holes in the
voice.
water.
Yeah. They just got slow. They got slow into the mark, and then they had to do a manoeuvre, and they're going to go from 4th all the way back to potentially 8th, 9th. Australia are down the road. They're chased by Taylor Canfield again. The US team, they're going seriously quick.
Going up, please. Sorry.
Get a bit of an idea of some of these teams lining up. We know it's a high execution day, but some of this boat speed, this lane holding is really important. You've got to hold your place on the course if you want to manoeuvre out of the boundaries really well.
Yeah, and I think what we saw yesterday was, for the viewers at home, I think when you're watching this, if you watch Australia here, you see how the boat's slightly tipped towards the side that's the side that's not got a foil in. They're heeling the boat to windward is what we say. That just generates a bit more horsepower, a bit more pace, but it puts you that bit closer to the edge.
There is the current situation here in race number 2. It is the Bonds Flying Rouge. They have the lead. Remember, they finished 8th in race number 1, so they're in a little bit of a recovery mode for a team that clean sweep Super Sunday back in Rio. The USA still holding on to 2nd place, Rockwell, Denmark in 3rd, and Los Gallos are lurking in 4th.
Confidence is a funny thing, isn't it? Yeah. Because if you think of Emirates GBR, they looked unplayable, and you could just hear the frustration in Dylan's voice, and I think he sounded so calm for the last 6, 7, 8 months. And first chink in Rio, and a little error there. It'll be interesting to watch this British boat, hear if they can calm things back down again.
Nice headed there, Dylan. Yeah, gonna have to be past this.
It sounds a lot calmer now, doesn't it? A good reset on board that British boat. I expect them to be able to work back through the fleet, but it is not easy in these conditions. Here we go, right of way, Rockwell, Denmark. United States have got to keep clear. Another couple of manoeuvres to do for the US team here. They've got to be clear of the Spanish. They spin the boat in front, and let's imagine these first few boats will all keep it quite simple.
So around gate number 3, it's the Bonds Flying Rouge. There is their lead as the clock begins, and then it is Rockwell, Denmark. Nikolai Sehested dropping right in front of Taylor Canfield and the Americans, and then is Los Gallos, Spain, lurking in 4th.
Yeah, I think huge day for the Rockwell Denmark team, really. Much like North Star, not had the start to the season they'd like, but they're really showing some good form back here. Lisa, we're seeing all the boats turn left at the top. Are you starting to see a pattern in where you'd want to be on this racetrack?
Yeah, especially at the top of the course where they are now. There's a really nice gust of wind that's sort of sitting here. The wind is changing slightly, so there is a little bit of opportunity to take your option. It also looks like it's maybe a little bit favoured, that left turn, so you sail less distance. In the end, today's less about the shifts and more about making sure you're in the best pressure around the course.
So it is Explora Switzerland, Germany Deutsche Bank, Mubadala Brazil, and Red Bull Italy that opt for the other side of the course. Meanwhile, Australia, Denmark, the USA, and Spain, they have all but checked out.
Yeah, I mean, that was a slow moment.
Pressing the wing, please.
Oh, it sounds like someone on the boat's maybe been pressing some buttons that aren't quite working. He's such technical craft, and as soon as you get a bit out of sync, things can get pretty wrong. Australia there, Bonds Flying Rouge, well, they've stretched their legs on that downwind. Look at that, they're already at the bottom of the course. Not their best work on that round up, but they're going to bring it home to the finish.
And the Bonds Flying Rouge swing it around. They've got the lead. They'll make their way back up the course. Rockwell, Denmark sits in 2nd place. Now the USA splitting the course with Los Gallos, Spain, the Season 4 champions.
Yeah. See the quality of that roundup. Lovely roundup by the US boat. Stay dry there, Spain. They've been brilliant at the bottom. Look at that again. Look, fast in, wide in, tight out. Proper racing car turn. Now the Los Gallos have control of the situation. Their bottom mark roundings have been absolutely perfect today. Nearly gained a boat every time they've done it. Pure accuracy. Just seriously good round that mark, Hannah.
Yeah, they're making it look pretty easy, and we know that that's definitely not the case on board. But I think one of the reasons we've seen quite a lot of boundary penalties on this race course is because it means you can eliminate a manoeuvre from each of those legs. So it's even more important that you get a good exit of these mark roundings because it impacts the whole of the rest of that leg.
This is like 5 of 7, race number 2. We've got 2 more races to go. We can update you that France has had an injury on board, so they have that to retire. We'll get you more information on that. Sweden had boat damage prior to the start of race number 1, and of course New Zealand still waiting for their boat to be completely fixed after their incident earlier this year. So we are now down to 10 national teams competing here on day number 1 of the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix.
Turning.
Bons Flying Rouge well ahead here. Look at this Spain, you see. They executed that manoeuvre at the bottom mark perfectly. They're at top of our screen there in a drag race out with the US team, but that was a brilliant, brilliant mark rounding. Everyone thinks of just, turn round a mark. We think of it as basic, don't we? But if you do the basics well, you can absolutely gain places, and that's what it's all about today.
The Italians having problems, Stevie. They are just drifting in the water, holding down 10th place. That moves Butler Brazil into 9th. So obviously,
you guys have got the tech services trying to figure this out as well.
Okay, Phil Robertson reaching out to the shore crew. Tech services, they'll be on board as soon as this race ends. But it is Australia making quick work of the rest of the fleet, Stevie. This looks like the Bons Flying Rouge that we saw on Super Sunday in Brazil.
Yeah, they look really solid. They're sailing the boat very well. They didn't have a great start in race 1, to be perfectly honest. We've got a lot of heel on board Rockwool Denmark there, and 2 foils in the water seems a fairly unconventional manoeuvre here by Rockwool Denmark.
4-point foil. So put the board back down on this side. You should have brake control again.
Oh wow, Tom Johnson's a round the world sailor, so he's used to problem solving on the fly. That sounded quite incredible. What is it, North Star? Talking about incredible, they found a good wind shift on the upwind leg here, and they've managed to make a jump ahead of the Spanish. Great work by Giles Scott. Consistency's key, and we know Rockwool have got a problem. They're having to sail in a slightly hamstrung way on this downwind leg. They will be slow. Can they somehow nurse it to the finish?
So the Danes will try to nurse this thing home on the final leg, 6 of 7, as North Star Canada turns away.
Oh, they've managed to get the board back up. Yep. I mean, we'll find out. That sounded like Tom Johnson. Well, he's an engineer as well as a wing trimmer, because somehow they problem solved that on the downwind.
He fully MacGyvered that at 70 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
At the turn, it is the Bons Flying Rouge, deja vu all over again, just like in Brazil, but this time on the great sound as the Bons Flying Rouge bring it home for the Emirates winning moment as they take race 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a big, tight moment when we get to the final turning mark as well, with, as we see here, North Star Canada are potentially going to be slow. Spain coming in like an absolute rocket here. They're going to be so fast. They've got to give room to North Star Canada, but they could be down. North Star have got to... Oh, you've got to Spain. You needed to see that earlier. They could have given more space early there, and they've fallen off the foils. I'm staggered. I thought they were going to execute that perfectly. Looks like Rockwool have nailed it, and now it's a sprint. Looks like the Spanish will get to 3rd.
So Denmark holds on to 2nd place, and Spain once again picks up a spot into 3rd.
Oh, and you just saw the North Star Canada boat submarine across the line. That was brilliant by the Spanish. They set that up early on the downwind leg. They're fast. Wow, that was intense as we see the round up there on board Emirates GBR. Take a look at it. There's a lot of action out here. I think the flat water's a little bit deceptive as to how much wind there is on the racetrack. The boats are pushing really hard.
I like to think Dylan Fletcher just giving the fans a little bit of a show. So Emirates GBR will get 7th place. Dropping back from where they got 5th in race number 1. It is Germany Deutsche Bank that gets 6th, and it is a Swiss that will take 8th. Explorer Switzerland comes across the line once again in 8th place, so they move up 2 positions from 10th, and then is Mubadala Brazil in 9th.
I just put it down here,
Wow, what a race. A little something for everyone. Great starts for White at mark number 1, and what a finish. The Bons Flying Rouge check out, and then the scrap was on for positions 2, 3, and 4.
And we'll take a look back at the highlights from this race. Quite a lot of space again at the top of the line, so North Star Canada making benefit of that. And Taylor Canfield once again lining up really nicely for a brilliant start. Bons Flying Rouge and Rockwool Denmark completing the front line of that lineup there, hitting the start line really nicely. We know how important it is to get to mark 1 really well here. Bons Flying Rouge taking the lead there. And the breeze was up a little bit, making that first manoeuvre a little bit more difficult, but that left turn seems to be super important here at gate 2.
Yeah, I think just minimising the manoeuvres, and as you said in the race so rightly, Hannah, if you can then stretch all the way to the boundary early on, and in fact really push that as much as you can, even test Craig Mitchell, the chief umpire's rules, you make the course a lot wider and you get yourself further up the course, saving yourself a little manoeuvres. But I think, yeah, left turn at the bottom, left turn at the top's key. The person that has won the race to Mark 1 in both races has won the race. You've got to know your start.
As we reported earlier, France having an incident on board as they are unable to participate in this race. And we can now tell you that it was Glenn Ashby that was hurt, Stevie, crossing here, hurt himself, so they had to pull out right there.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's going to have, oh, you can see he twisted over there. I think what we don't get from the sat here, certainly in the room, and we don't maybe get on the telly, the G-forces they're feeling when they manoeuvre. It's not a stable platform, so yeah, I mean, I hope Glenn's okay.
And this was the incident on board Italy. This is a part we talked about, their boat just not performing correctly. And watch this, board just not coming up.
Yeah, there's just a few tech issues. You heard them complaining about the panel, trying to find the problem. Let's hope they can get to it.
Let's take a look at the Emirates fly time from race number 2, and it's got to go the way of the Bonds Flying Roos. They were near perfect, 100% across the board for Tom Slingsby and his crew as they get the job done. They win race number 2. That to go with their performance in race number 1, which was an 8. So, Stephen Hand, I got to think that Tom Slingsby's thinking that first race, the 8, we'll just throw that one away, not even count it.
Yeah, and if we take a look back at the statistics from that second race, we knew today was all going to be about those high percentages. So you have to be at 100% flight time, and within that, there's so many different parts to that. Nailing the average ride height as well, keeping that super accurate, is going to be key to success in these next 2 races.
Well, at the previous stop in Rio, event 4 of season 6, the 3-time champion Bonds Flying Roos pulled off something that has never happened on a Super Sunday in SailGP.
On Sunday in Rio, we were able to get the clean sweep of winning all 4 races.
It's the Bonds Flying Roos winning the first race on Super Sunday.
A bit of a shock to us all. We were just concentrating on each race.
2 for 2 for the Australians.
But to get 4 wins in a day was a real achievement for our team.
How about this?
It was a really amazing feat.
The Bonds Flying Roos reign supreme in Rio.
Welcome to the club, Goody.
A really important part of our day was our starting, and we were doing a sort of slingshot starts where you start behind everyone and then you reach through it and try to hit the line with a bit more speed.
Look at the Bonds Flying Roos, Todd. They were out the back threading the needle.
It was a very unknown configuration, the big wing with the small rudders and the 5-person setup. It was really unique and different. So we knew we were going to be quite overpowered with that wing, and it was going to be a handful.
Whenever those conditions are like that, you're not sailing the boat at its optimum performance, I suppose, at 100% of its potential, just because the conditions are so hard. So average, but I guess we were doing a better job than the rest of the people in those conditions.
We got out there and felt pretty good in our warm-up. We saw a lot of the teams were struggling in that configuration and made us feel really confident going into that day of racing.
It's such a confidence game sometimes. That was kind of the messaging I think we wanted to have in the brief before the race.
Bull's a huge asset to our team. I'm a pretty passionate racer and can get pretty fired up out there, and he is a sort of calming voice and basically comes to me and just gives me facts all the time.
Good right pressure on M1.
Copy, at full speed.
I don't have an opportunity to stand up and look around and see we're in first, but I can hear it in the tone of Tom's voice, you know, in the communication loop. I can see it's chilled, I can hear we're being proactive in our decisions, and that's when I know that we're doing well.
It was amazing. It was sort of hard to believe that it had come together so well in a venue like this. It's hard to describe. It was just wow. You know, we really were in sync.
A day like that in Rio, it's just the reason you compete. Obviously that's the goal here in Bermuda again, but a lot of things have to go right for that to happen. But we're just focused on ourselves and we're not focusing on winning every race. We just want to compete to the best of our ability and trust the process and see how the results fold.
Stevie Moore said, I've never heard Tom Slingsby described as a passionate sailor, a fiery sailor, but a passionate sailor in his words.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you'd say about Tom is he wears his heart on his sleeve, doesn't he? I think you know what you're getting with him. Found it so interesting there, the comment from Jason Waterhouse of, I might not see what's going on, but I can hear from the tempo and the temperament of the boat. I always think a good team, you can tell what you hear, tells you what's going on.
Well, you flash back to what they did there, and that was an amazing performance, Hannah and Stevie. What they did in Rio on Super Sunday, not only winning the event, but the way they did it, coming out and clean sweeping the rest of the field.
Yeah, I think it was just obviously a really dominant performance, and I'm sure they'll be happy with that. But the racing moves on, and they've got to be at the same level this weekend.
Well, it's a big week in Bermuda. They've got co-owner Ryan Reynolds in tow, and he has been hanging around the team, giving them a little inspiration. Just a short time ago, Lisa Darmanin catching up with the Australian strategist, Tash Bryant.
Tash, awesome day out here in Bermuda, but you had a pretty spectacular day yesterday taking Ryan out.
Yeah, it was incredible getting to take Ryan out yesterday and show him a bit of our sport, and I think he's got the bug. He definitely said he has, and yeah, it's really exciting to see.
Now, you finished Rio with a fantastic Sunday. A little shaky on the first race today, but how good did it feel to be out in front in that second race?
Yeah, that last race was definitely a whole lot easier for me, but it's an epic racetrack. Got a little bit busy in the first one, still busy in the second one, even though we had a little distance behind us, but yeah, I can't wait to get out there again.
And what's the key to this race course? Is there a pattern? Is it about finding the best pressure or just sailing the boat to its full potential?
Yeah, I mean, getting off the start nicely just makes the race a whole lot easier. That last race, that definitely worked for us. And the one before, we got a bit caught up in the mid-fleet, and everyone's pretty competitive. So once you're in the back foot or just being ping-ponged around the course, it's really hard to overtake.
Well, it's a quick turnaround. I can see the team debriefing. I'll let you go.
Thanks so much, Lise. Have a great day.
Well, the beauty of Bermuda, and there's lots of things to talk about, is it's only about a 90-minute flight from Atlanta, New York City. So, Stevie, that means celebrities can pop in, and somewhere in the Adrenaline Lounge, Mr. Pool's hanging out.
Yeah, we had Ryan Reynolds, as Tash said, on the boat. Surprised Tash hasn't sold that helmet on eBay already, because I think he had to borrow her helmet yesterday. But yeah, I mean, it's just phenomenal, isn't it? You look at the scenes they've got here for viewing what is incredible racing out there on the Great Sound, and we know Russell Coots will be in there, and they're getting some great action.
All right, so we are now 1:45 away from the start of race number 3. Remember, we've got 4 fleet races today. Then we'll have 3 more tomorrow. Plus, we'll have the event final where only the top 3 teams will battle it out. So, Hannah, what you've seen in the first 2 races with the wind conditions, what we've heard from Lisa down in the water, where would you want to be in the start box if you were driving one of these boats?
Well, I think from the last 2 starts, we've seen that top or bottom of the line isn't the be-all and end-all in this race setup, but you've got to be fast and you've got to be getting your bow out in front. So not only do you have to get your time and distance right, you also have to be prepared to push really hard to get to Mark 1 ahead.
Stevie, I gotta love me some parity in this league, because in race number 1, the top 3 teams completely different than the top 3 teams that won in race number 2. So it doesn't matter where you are, it's how you finish, as we've got 1 minute to go, and this all-important 3rd race, the penultimate race here with 1 more still to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you can say there's easy conditions, in some ways today's it. You know, you can get on the foil easily, the water's flat, it's not that gusty, there's a few opportunities, so all the teams can really sail the boat well. What I've been sized about is how the teams have been misjudging this turn back to the line. USA have turned quite early here. Canfield's been the master at it. I think it's the sort of day where you can trust the software, trust the data the boat's giving you. There's not a lot to change that. Wind's fairly steady. Out the back, it's the Bonds Flying Ruse. They're going to hope to come in hot. Los Gallos are out the back as well. North Star Canada have got some space. Giles Scott seems to have solved the puzzle. He's got a bit of space at the top of the line. Bonds Flying Rue come diving through down the line. Los Gallos are diving down the line. Now it's about the wind-up. 12 seconds to go. Red Bull Italy turn towards the line, but are they too early? They might be a little early on Red Bull Italy. There could be a possible shutout at the top of the line here. North Star. Too risky by North Star. Too risky.
This is the umpires. Early start penalty. Canada, Italy, Germany.
It's going to be the Bonds Flying Ruse out the middle of the line. They've got the speed. It's a drag race between them and Los Gallos. Los Gallos are pushing so hard to hang on the inside. Right of way, Los Gallos. Surely there's more penalty to come for North Star Canada after that. And it's a sprint now. Australia will lead.
So for the 2nd race in a row, mark number 1 belongs to the Australians as they push nearly 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, I can see Rockwell Denmark got shot out at the top of the line, Todd. That start line, they all got a bit early, and suddenly the door was getting shut towards the top. Look at the G-force there. Tash Bryant and Ian Johnson on the right-hand side of our screen, hanging on here. They're away. They've gapped out a little bit. We see top of the screen there. We can see Germany, Deutsche Bank are a little back in the pack, but they found some space. Emirates GBR, they've got space too. All the boats will be lining up and pretty desperate to get that left turn if you can now.
Yeah, I think if you're in the middle of the pack here, so if Bronze Flying Rouge is easy, there's no decision here, it's left turn. If you're Mubadala Brazil, if you're US, if you're Explorer Swiss or Emirates GBR, it's much more difficult to pick a clean path and the correct mark.
So let's follow the leader out on the Great Sound, and right now that leader is the Bonds Flying Rouge. Winners of the last event, winners of the last race. Can they make it 2 in a row? They'll make the left-hand turn. They'll take the Spanish with them.
Yeah, and Swiss are going to take a left turn. They're going to be slow here. Another perfect rounding by the Spanish on that left turn. Gained on Australia there. Mubadala Brazil, great job here. Martini Grail spins the boat around gate 2. Nice manoeuvre by the Brazilian team there. They're up in the pack. Emirates GBR, it's a little bit ragged, but they've made a gain. Cut the inside on the US team. Dylan Fletcher's moving back through the pack.
The Brits, the defending champions from season 5, they need a big performance here if they have any designs on making Super Sunday's event final.
Yeah, interesting. We can see in the Oracle cloud here, bottom left of our screen, Mubadala Brazil have actually got 3-4 kilometres an hour more wind than the Australians. Oh, they've gone out of bounds. They've pushed too wide there. They've tried to stretch it, but they're going to pay a penalty. 20 metres going to get lost for them here. Costly error for the Brazilian team there, but they did find more wind. Clearly, Lisa, there are opportunities out on this course to find more breeze. What are you seeing down on the race course?
Yeah, I really feel like this pattern's emerging, but there are these sort of pulses of breeze that are coming through, so you really got to look up the course. The nice thing about Bermuda, with the weather like it is, it's awesome to be able to actually read the wind. It's a lot easier than some of the conditions. So, yeah, this is just epic racing. It's so close, and no mistakes allowed or someone will pounce.
No mistakes allowed. Easier said than done, Tom. Going to see a manoeuvre here. Ian Jensen spinning across the boat. He's going to go and look to set up that wing sheet. There you go. He picks up the rope. Boat turns. Left-hand side of screen. Tash Bryan. She's now steering the boat as Slingsby gets up to cross. Just Jason Waterhouse to the right-hand side. He's still flying the boat. Slingsby takes control of the flight. Jason Waterhouse leaves. Perfect manoeuvre by the Bonds Flying Rouge.
Hannah, for someone that's been on these boats, the choreography of the changeover has got to be almost perfect.
Yeah, that's absolutely everything. I mean, you cannot sail these boats. You won't get around the course if everyone's not completely in sync, and that can be the difference between first and last, first and second. On a day like today, you have to be so in sync to nail these maneuvers.
So another boundary penalty, this time to Red Bull Italy and Phil Robertson. Stevie, is it the course speed tight, or is the speeds they're traveling at that everything's coming at them so much faster?
No, Hannah nailed it. If you can be a bit wide on the course, you'll save yourself later on. So they try and push the rules. They try and get what you might call a professional foul, a cheap penalty. They say, oh, it's going to cost us 20 metres from chief umpire. Emirates GBR, right-hand side of the screen, dip behind there. That was really tight. Hannah Mills, she's on the right-hand side there steering to judge these crosses.
Look at this.
It's so tight in the pack. There's such a tight racetrack. USA have got to keep clear. Wow, that was tight. Canfield pushing it. Emirates GBR do make the mark, but they're off the foils. They're going to be slow. They're going to be real slow here. Mubadala Brazil spins around the outside, and Explorer Swiss, they're up and running. Bottom right-hand corner of our screen. Great job by Sepp Schneider. They're right in the game here. But the class of the fleet, Los Gallos and the Bonds Flying Rouge, look at that. Leagues apart right now.
So does the Bonds Flying Rouge, the winners of the last race. They have the lead. Los Gallos, Spain, they sit in second place, and then, as Stevie pointed out, a huge gap back to third and fourth place with the Swiss and the Brazilians. And the Americans, Stevie, have fallen off that last gate. They went so very wide. And how about this action at the other end of the course?
Yeah, Bonds Flying Rouge got to keep clear. We will have a split here. Los Gallos get the favoured side. Tactical brilliance from Botin here. He turns left first. Can see good pressure on the Bonds Flying Rouge. I mean, to me at the moment, these are the two best fleets in the boat. Punching, punching, punching. This is an absolute championship fight.
Got two gold medalists going at it right now with Diego Botin and Tom Slingsby. Stevie, this was your pick coming into this weekend. You thought the Spanish just had this place on lock.
Yeah, I think in these flat water conditions, Joel Rodriguez, the flight controller on board that Spanish boat. Oh, it's a tight moment there. Germany and the USA, middle of the screen. Eric Kyle, wow, he knows how to push it. It'd be interesting to see if there's any more to hear about that. I think he was just about clear ahead, but yes, just think Joel Rodriguez, the flight controller, he's right in that top drawer. Luke Parkinson, Jason Waterhouse, that conversation for the best flight controllers in the business. Joel's absolutely in there, and in this flat water, I think he really, really specialises in pushing the boat super high.
I think you can feel just how the intensity of the racing stepped up a little bit. Breeze is up to almost 30 kilometres an hour now, just making the boats a little bit faster, a little bit harder to control. So getting those manoeuvres on point is just going to be that tiny bit harder.
I think we're across.
Constant conversations here in the penultimate race of the day. Remember, we've got one more fleet race to go. We're missing Sweden. Artemis, unfortunately, had damage to their boat before the racing started. They are out. And then, of course, France with the injury to Glenn Ashby. We'll try to get an update on that as well, as New Zealand's boat not ready. So 13 becomes 10. We go down in the water. Lisa, the water and the weather conditions, are they going to stay the same for races 3 and 4?
Yeah, we're expecting it to stay the same, but considering how flat water it is, it's not that windy. How many people are having issues? It's really surprising. It just goes to show how much everyone's just pushing.
And no question about it. As we take a look at the Rolex chasing time, it is now Australia trying to track down the Spanish. And Stevie, it looks like they're almost dead even.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. I mean, it depends if Australia can make it to the left turn. I think they're going to have to go a little slower at the end of this upwind leg. Oh, no, they have to do another manoeuvre. So it's actually a pretty big lead for Spain. Bear in mind here, no one has lost the lead from Mark 1. Yeah. The Bonds Flying Rouge currently have. Spain are really quick because in the other races they've been in the pack and they've moved up to near contention. They've got themselves somewhere near the front of the course and they are absolutely lit up like a Christmas tree out of that top gate there. They are flying down the course. More breeze, cut in the distance.
At gate number 5, Stevie, we talk about consistency being the winning formula here in SailGP. If you look at it right now, let's say Spain goes on to finish first or second. So for their first 3 races, they're going to be a 4-3-2 or 4-3-1. That is not terrible to open things up.
No, it's really good. And I think consistency is the key, but I think what's actually the key is I believe any of the teams in SailGP right now, tight moment here for North Star. Can he thread the needle?
Oh, Giles Scott, look at that.
Oh, that was pretty much surgical through there, wasn't it? Absolutely clinical by the Canadian team. Yeah, I think any team in the fleet can win a race. What differentiates your Bonds Flying Rouge, your Los Gallos from the other teams is if they're 7th or 6th, they'll turn that into a 4th or a 3rd, what we'd call in sailing a solid one, a consistent counter. They'll work their way back through the fleet. A lot of the other teams, even Emirates GBR at the moment, when they're in the pack, they stay stuck in the pack.
Right now, Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team are mired in 7th place. They're trying to pick up another spot, but this race is about done and dusted. And for the 3rd race, we've got our 3rd different winner. Give it up for the winners 2 years ago in Bermuda. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Spanish. Los Gallos take a bow. And it'll be the Bonds Flying Rouge that finish in 2nd place. So the Australians, Stevie, other than that first race where they finished in 8th, they've got a 1st and a 2nd also on their report card.
Yeah, really good. As we see Germany Deutsche Bank here, they've got the right of way on the inside. The Swiss have got a little slow, but they might have a chance to slingshot over the top. No, he's got wide, a bit loose on the Swiss boat. Eric Heil, brilliant tactical sailing on board that German boat there, and they re-accelerate, blast towards the finish line here. Another good one for the German team. They've put a couple of solid races in as well. As we see in the pack there, United States 7th, Emirates GBR 8th. Those 2 teams, they're real podium contenders and they're struggling a bit. North Star, what a good reset by this Canadian team. They're sailing very, very well out here day 1 in Bermuda. Consistent results. Campbell James there, wing trimmer. Nice job, team. That's what you want to hear.
Might have to slow down here, guys, inside Canada. And slow down us. Yeah.
This is one the Americans won't want, Stevie. They finished 1st, 5th, and then they dropped back to 7th. And Emirates GBR, their woes continue. They finished in 8th place after a 7th in race number 2. They really struggle. And then race number 1, they finished in 5th.
All right. We need to just stop getting in all this trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to agree with that comment from Emirates GBR Dylan there. You know, they're just getting a bit tangled up, a bit tied up. Often if you can have space and be away from boats, you get to use that boat speed, use all your basic skills. And Dylan said he's just found a few tricky moments.
So a great job by Los Gallos. 3 races, 3 different winners. The Spanish, remember, they are the defending champions technically. 2 years ago when they came and got the win. We go on board with them. Diego Botín. Diego, congratulations. Great race out there. You guys broke the streak. Whoever has gotten that lead at mark number 1 has gone on to win the race. You guys did not get the lead at mark 1, but you do win the race. What was the turning point for you?
Well, I think the decision on the first top mark, we went right, and there was a very nice pressure that let us stand all the way to the boundary and get we got closer to the Aussies and got the left turn at the bottom, which favored us.
Diego, by my counting, I think you've gained 3 or 4 points just by doing good roundings at the bottom gate in each race. To any of the young viewers at home, how important are the basics of sailing in a racecourse like this?
The basics are super important, but they are super hard to execute. I mean, it's so hard to sail the boat in this much wind with this wing, and you need to be super precise. And yeah, it looks easy, but I tell you, it's not.
Yeah, not so easy. And Florian, you seem to have the Spanish boat going pretty well. You managed to overtake the Bonds Flying Roo. No one managed to do that in Rio. Is confidence high in your team right now?
I think the group is working really well, and yeah, obviously we always feel like we can improve, but generally the performance is really nice, and yeah, we're looking forward to another good race, and then yeah, getting into that final tomorrow, hopefully.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Congratulations. We'll see you for race number 4. So Los Gallos get it done in race 3.
And there was plenty of action at the start line of race 3. We had a lot of boats fighting for the top end, where previously we'd had quite a lot of space. And a couple of those boats lined up a little bit early. So the US were just pushing up towards the top end of the line, and there were 4 boats above them, all vying for that top spot. But ultimately, it was Rockwool Denmark were forced out the top of the line, and a really punchy move from North Star Canada. Lucky to get away without another penalty there, I think. And it was, so that allowed the boats at the bottom of the line, Bonds Flying Roos, Los Gallos, and the Swiss to take the lead at mark 1.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I was staggered that wasn't more of a penalty for North Star, but they did sail very well from that moment on and work back through the fleet. This is the moment that Spain are talking about here at the top gate. Australia had a bit of a wobble. Spain got some space, found more wind, and then put the pressure on the Australians. Left turn at the bottom of the course, you sail less distance, and that meters is keen out here. Spanish have done a brilliant job of minimising meters around the course.
And they do get the Emirates winning moment in race number 3. They also get the Emirates Fly Time Award. Spain goes 100% on fly time in race number 3 on their way to pick up a win in race number 3. We are down to 1 more race to go here on day number 1 of the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the standings after 3 races. Remember, it's 10 points for a win, all the way down to 1 point for 10th. And we've got a tight win at the top. Los Gallos lead the way on 25 points. A tie between the Bonds Flying Roos and North Star. Then you got Germany Deutsche Bank there at 21 points. The US SailGP team still in the conversation. So 5 teams really in the hunt, looking very good. The rest of the teams, there's still work to be done out here on the Great Sound, and plenty of time in the next 4 fleet races between today and tomorrow's 3 fleet races before the event final. Well, Emirates GBR's day here in Bermuda isn't going very well. Currently down in 7th place, and back at the last event in Rio, it was also definitely one to forget for a team that is trying to defend their title from last year.
Emirates GBR, I mean, they've been in a final, every final since the middle of the summer last year. Now, there is no chance Emirates GBR are making the final 3 boats here in Rio.
That's a shocker.
Starting in Rio wasn't good enough, but the unusual factor was we then weren't able to pull through, whereas other times we've seen plenty of top teams have bad starts but pull through, but being bad at starting and slow is not a good recipe for a good weekend.
Gotta come down, we gotta come down, down. We're just gonna have, this is not that wrong.
Reality was there was very few overtaking options on the race course. It was kind of a one-way track going left, and boat speed, as we saw from the Australians, was actually, it was a boat speed venue. Being honest, we thought it was going to be all about tactics.
Recently, Emirates GBR have been unplayable. We see them in the middle top of our screen. They're just sat wallowing in the water under Sugarloaf.
The margins are so tight in the fleet, you know, the sailing, the level is so high that, you know, just a few things not going quite right can really put you in a bad spot.
It was very painful, and we were just trying to get through it. It was almost comical, to be honest, how bad it went.
That was absolute shocking.
They're way faster on board the United States.
You see the level within SailGP and you don't deliver anything that you normally do well, then it's obvious that you're not going to have a good result.
You see the frustration on the faces of Dylan Fletcher, Hannah Mills and company.
Boat speed's something that's probably come pretty naturally to us as a team, and so to not have that, I think, was actually really distracting for everyone.
I did a terrible job. I wasn't looking and making decisions as I focused on everything else.
It was quite eye-opening, I think, and I think sometimes you kind of need to have those moments to really focus the team, reset and really concentrate on some of the areas that have maybe always been there but maybe been glossed over because sometimes the performance kind of shadows that.
The focus going into Bermuda is around trying to get back to our sort of strong, consistent start.
Right now, and we will talk about Emirates GBR. Hannah, this is your former team. What do you think the difference is from what we saw from them from the first 3 events to what we're seeing in the last 2?
Well, I think Rio was a particularly tricky venue, and it would have been easy for any of the teams to get caught out on the wrong day. I think there's a couple of things. I think, you know, your starting strategy sometimes really works, and the spaces open up for you, and you can get off the line really nicely, get in some space, and it's kind of easy. But when you're in the pack, it's so hard, and they haven't had any time racing in the pack. So that was new for them, and I think it's going to be tough for them from here.
All right, one more race to go here on the Great Sound.
Rio de Janeiro played host to a thrilling and unpredictable SailGP event in its first time hosting the fastest race on water. While Sugarloaf Mountain provided a stunning backdrop, it made the wind harder to find for the world-class teams choosing their ideal route throughout the course. Using Oracle Insights data, we can see how the Bonds Flying Roos not only navigated this tricky part of the racetrack, they also had their F50 set up perfectly in this unseen configuration of the 27.5 metre wing, light airboards and high-speed rudders. Across the final day of racing, the Bonds Flying Roos won every race, a feat not often completed in SailGP. While most of the fleet would have to deal with tricky decisions and crowded manoeuvres, particularly at the top gate where the wind was lightest, the Roos would allow themselves the space and time to make the best decision to maintain their lead. Despite the gusts providing unpredictable speeds and conditions during large spells of Sunday's racing, the Bonds Flying Roos managed to get foiling and find the ley line at crucial early stages in each race to move to the front of the fleet.
The Aussies, great first run here again. I think they're in on the ley line for a couple of games.
In the final, the Australian team once again made sure to race from the front, finding the fastest boat speed at the start line and beating Artemis and Los Gallos crews to Mark 1. From here, they kept themselves out of trouble and on the foils, while Artemis and Los Gallos behind them had to take risks to try and catch up.
Well, Artemis, they had a little bit of a wobble. They almost tried to force the foil. They fell off the foils. Slingsby didn't make that mistake.
The Roos pulled off a flawless foiling tack to fight off Artemis and give themselves a free run to claim their second event win of the season.
The Bonds Flying Roos reign supreme in Rio.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
Bermuda has always belonged to the sea, and today, the world gets to see exactly why. Here, centuries of maritime history meet cutting-edge modern speed. It is a stage of contrast where you can soak up the tranquility of our world-class resorts or dive beneath the surface to explore the mysteries of the deep blue. This unique island may only be 21 square miles, but in Bermuda, the ways to lose yourself are endless. Well, for the 4th time, SailGP has come to Bermuda. This is an absolute mecca for sailing as we welcome you to day 1 of the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. Beautiful day here in Bermuda as we now have the opportunity to go into the coach's booth where all the data is secured. And here's a guy, Stevie, that was with us in the broadcast booth. We couldn't afford his services, so he's back on site again. Pete, the big question, I guess, for you is when will we see you and the Black Foils back on the start line?
Yeah, it's a little bit nicer down here in Bermuda than it was in Ealing last weekend, to be fair. So good spot here, but things are starting to look really good for Halifax. So, definitely prefer to be out there racing, but it's not looking like too far away now.
Well, Pete, there's a few more biscuits for us in the booth this week, so that's good news. Now, Halifax obviously been great. What are you seeing as the priorities out there on the race course? It's been some pretty tight racing, but Spain and Australia look pretty good again, don't they?
Yeah, it's such beautiful viewing from here, from the lounge in Bermuda. It's beautiful conditions out there. It looks like a really fun day yachting. Yeah, Spain and Australia, like you say, have really been setting their benchmark, and just looks like they're keeping it clean, keeping in the pressure. There's plenty of puffs, plenty of passing lanes out there, so keeping in the pressure and sailing the boat fast.
Pete, I got to ask you, we saw that injury on Glenn Ashby. We hope he's going to be okay, but is there any chance that if Content Delapierre gave you a call, would you join him on board?
I have never trimmed a wing on an F50 before, apart from
So that's a no.
So hopefully Glenn's can tape himself up and take a few painkillers and get through the rest of the weekend. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a busy night for the tech team. You saw Artemis go out before the race. Obviously Denmark and Italy having a few little problems as well throughout the weekend. So hopefully everything can get resolved overnight, and 12 boats racing again tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I can assure you, Todd, I spent 5 minutes in the simulator with Pete and he looked very confused in the wing trimmer's position, so let's not sign him up for that one, that is for sure. But Pete, start line, the whole fleet was very reactive in that last start. Are you anticipating everyone will come up towards the top of the line, or is there going to be a bit more space on it, do you reckon?
Yeah, I was amazed how late everyone was. I'm not really quite sure what led to that, but from where we are, we only saw them popping out the back. So, yeah, I mean, traditionally everyone overreacts, and I'd expect everyone to be kind of early and high this time around if I was a betting man. So, yeah, look for someone coming through from the back at that kind of mid-lower line.
Hey, Pete, appreciate your time. We look forward to seeing you and the squad back on the line in Halifax, and keep your eye on that guy over your shoulder, Nathan Outteridge. He's tricky.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Cheers. All right, so we're down to fleet race number 4, 1:15 away from the start of this race, and it looks like it'll be deja vu all over again, Stevie, as everyone kind of races towards the back end of the box, and then they kind of go for a reaction. Meanwhile, Taylor Canfield in the USA, they're going to play a little rope-a-dope and come in late.
Yeah, they are. As we look at the results over here on the left, Crucial, really good position. Third for North Star Canada, 22 points, right there with the Australians. USA in the mix again, Germany good. So a lot of teams really putting in some good results here. Yeah, USA have had a good strategy. Australia have been rock solid, consistent, being early back into the box. Emirates GBR, well, they need to get to part 1 in the fight to give themselves a chance at this. They've struggled with the start. They're late again here. They might be lining themselves up for what Peter Burling says was that late dive-through type start, but it's got risk associated. Left the picture, the Swiss. Middle back of the picture, the Los Gallos. They're going to look to find a gap. I love where the United States are again, though. Canfield somehow find a bit of space in amongst the mayhem. Whole fleet's lined themselves up towards the bottom of the line. Don't want to be trapped out like the last one. 13 seconds to go to the start. Rolex pole predictor sits on the top of the US wing. Can they execute from here? Bond's Flying Rouge look perfect. Slingsby winds it up. He turns towards the start line. Look for the line to turn wide. What a start by the fleet. They're going wide now. It's a pure boat speed race. Expect Slingsby to drop the hammer over the top from here.
This is the umpires. Penalty Germany, window boat not keeping clear, go behind France.
But as they approach mark number 1, it was 3 wide, then 4 wide, now 5 wide, as Red Bull Italy on the inside tries to keep the Aussies away from the whole shot.
Oh, what a job by the Italian team there. Of course, they've got the old Australian wing trimmer, Carl Langford, on board that Italian boat. Super brave. As they enter this dotted line here, that's when the rules will change over, and the Australians will be allowed to manoeuvre away from the boundary. Italy sets up to manoeuvre. Here goes Slingsby. Who's going to execute best? Look how flat the platform stayed there, Todd, and then they just lean it slightly on top of them, wind up the acceleration.
And Hannah, if it looks a little more crowded out there, it's because the French are back in the mix. They've picked up a sailor.
Yeah, that's right. They've got Australian reserve sailor Tom Needham on board, so a bit of a baptism of fire for him in that wing trimmer role. But they don't look to be doing too badly so far in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, what a day to be chopped in for the first day on the tools. Good luck, Tom. You possibly are going to need it. We'll look at this tight race as we come downwind here. They want to set up for a left turn on board Italy. The Australians are going to split away. They don't want to follow. So good news for Red Bull Italy if they can get... No, they're going to have to follow. None of them are making it down the course. Obviously, a slight change in the wind. Yeah, you can see that double manoeuvre for Italy. Don't think that's going to be good news. Australia have got a chance to make a gain as Emirates GBR up to third.
Gate 2 in the final race of the day. Remember, there's 3 more fleet races tomorrow before the event final. Only the top 3 teams as everyone tries to get the sweet spot. We check in down on the water. Lisa Darmanin, how are things looking? Has the wind shifted, and where's the favored spot?
Yeah, so the wind's actually just died off a little bit. So you know how they were saying that they were a little bit out of control with this 24-meter wing? I think now that it's, you know, maybe closer to 25 kilometers per hour, this all-purpose wing's really coming into his own, but means that all those ley lines and boundary calls will be slightly different with the angles, but not too light, but still changes the game slightly.
Apologies if you heard any language at that gate there. There's a very tight incident between Spain and Brazil. Big dial down through Mubadala, Brazil. They're unfortunately off the foils. They had the right of way as well. So a tight moment here. We see here they had to dive out the way of the Spanish. Look at right-hand side, Paul Goodison. He's absolutely hanging on to that side stay, holding the rig up. The double manoeuvre, boat out of the water, disaster. Not really their fault either. A little bit unfortunate, that one. Surprised there wasn't an incident called there. Red Bull Italy, though, well, they could do with a race win, and they look pretty good right now.
3 races, 3 different winners. USA won race number 1. The Bonds Flying Roos of Australia won race number 2. And Spain, Los Gallos, won race number 3. Can Phil Robertson and Red Bull Italy get it done here in race 4?
Yeah, I think the interesting, Hannah, don't you? You see right-hand side of screen, Los Gallos, they had a bit of a difficult downwind leg. They're sat in 8th. They could turn this into a 5th by the end of the race. I don't know if they can, but that to me would be an absolute power play.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things. If you can climb through the fleet, that can be so powerful. But for the boats that don't spend that much time at the front of the fleet, they understand at this point how much easier it is to sail the boat. But we do still see those mistakes creeping in. So Red Bull Italy, if they want to stay up in the 2nd place they're in at the moment, they're going to have to be really tight on all of their manoeuvres.
Lisa, the Australians seem to have found a bit of extra breeze on the right-hand side. They've made a big gain on Italy. So it's dropped a little bit, but is it still shiftier as you move further up the course?
Yeah, it's shifting, and there's sort of cloud lines come over the right-hand side, so it's playing with the course. It's only really 10 degrees difference, but you know, that can make the difference between not doing an extra maneuver, and that's hundreds of meters.
So the Bonds Flying Roos try to get 2 race wins out of 4 on day number 1, but you've got Phil Robertson, Kyle Langford on Red Bull Italy. They'll try to make some magic here in 2nd place and hope that Tom Slingsby and that star-studded cast, Stevie, make a mistake.
Yeah, I think if you're hoping for that, you're a dreamer. I'm not sure I'm going to see a mistake from the Australians. Emirates GBR have done a nice job in the pack, and same as well for the US team. They've worked through well. Surprised to hear about clouds in Bermuda. There weren't any when I was there. That is for sure. But yeah, nice manoeuvre here. And Italy, they just want to get a solid one in there. They've had a tough day on board that Italian boat. We see Rockwall here. They've managed to cut the corner. Huge gain by the Danish. They just sailed a big wind shift, saved a lot less distance, but they are slow. They're going to struggle to accelerate again. A lot of load on them. If you get slow, there's a lot more load in the rig. Look how fast Spain are on the inside. Los Gallos, I said if they could get to 5th, they're already 6th.
USA split the course. They currently sit in 4th place right now, just behind Emirates GBR, who have their best race so far this weekend, as they are up to 3rd place. Everyone, though, chasing the Bonds Flying Roos and Red Bull Italy.
Yeah, on board North Star. They're in 8th at the moment.
Down if you want it, maybe not.
They've had a good weekend so far, but they need to turn this one into a solid keeper. They need to get somewhere near 6th if they can.
Yours.
3 races, all top 5 finishes for Giles Scott and North Star Canada. Can they finish on a high note before they get ready for Super Sunday?
Hannah, was there ever a call on the British boat? If you're in the pack, how do you sort of keep the focus pointing in the right direction?
Well, I think the focus thing is really hard to keep when you're in the pack because there's so much going on. It's so hard to kind of get clarity of thought when you're in the pack, and that's the difference. When you're out in front, everything seems so much easier because you can see what's coming. You don't interact with any other boats as much. So the teams that can do that really well are so strong in these conditions.
Ian Jensen makes the cross. Tosh Bryant there. Strategist Tom Slingsby stays on the left-hand side, makes the turn. Jason Waterhouse in front of him, and now Slingsby will make the crossing.
Calming the chaos, Todd. like you having to work with us in here, isn't it? Staying calm when we're going off with these sailboat races. But there we go. Emirates GBR have split the course. That didn't go all that well for the other teams last time, but the British have got a chance to put the hammer down here. They've got a potential attack on the Italians. Australia, well, they're not shooting away from the fleet yet.
Just look at the difference in angle that they've been sailing compared to the Bonds Flying Rouge and the Italians. They've been making much better progress up those ladder lines since they went around that gate mark.
Oh, but penalty. Oh, they pushed it
outside
wide.
the boundary.
We've said it all day. It's maybe getting a bit boring. All the teams will try and push the limits on that to try and save themselves further up the course. And they've got rid of the penalty pretty quickly. I think they got rid of it with a poor manoeuvre, but they've lost a place. They've opened the door for Canfield. Canfield's got it. Los Gallos here. They come. Dum, 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 dum. Right-hand side of screen. They're up to 5th. They are charging.
Heel down, then we go.
Those are the event standings on the left side of your screen. Remember, only the top 3 teams on points will make the event final at the end of tomorrow. Right now, it would be the Bonds Flying Rouge, Los Gallos, and the US SailGP team that would be in the final.
Australia and Italy are in an absolute match race. Slingsby's not opening any door on the 2-time match race world champion, Phil Robertson. Look, he sat right in the same direction. They're both going the same way at the same time. They're both in phase, as we'd say at the moment, and potentially even a little bit of disturbed air from that Bonds Flying Rouge wing, and that's turning into that 2-3 kilometres an hour boat speed difference that we can see on the Australians there. They're going to work their way up the course. This is a masterclass.
You know who'd like this fight? Our good friend Jimmy Spithill. I bet he's just frothing to be out there at the wheel, but he's got Phil Robertson now steering the boat for him and his Red Bull Italy team.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jimmy loved a match race, didn't he? He loved a fight, and he'll just love seeing this Italian boat at the front of the fleet. This is where a team like Red Bull Italy and the quality of sailors you've got in Italy and in and amongst that team, they would expect to be. Again, tough couple of events for them, but the real sprouts of gains here as we see Italy. They have the right of way. United States moving up through the fleet. The Rolex chasing time, so's at GBR are catching, but they've lost a place. They've dropped behind the US team here. Errors are costing them dearly at the moment, and they're only small ones, but at this level, small errors hurt. Oh, here comes Spain.
Good heavens.
Spain have the right of way. Emirates GBR must keep clear of the Spanish. Opens the door for Botín. He'll kick it down. Over, he's up to 4th.
He's going to pick up 2 spots.
Oh, he's a magician at the moment. They are so fast, and they're just picking their way through the fleet.
You mentioned earlier about getting out of phase, Stevie, and I think it's one of the most powerful things you can do on a day like today. As we see the Spanish come round behind the Brits here, and the Brits just deciding to put that manoeuvre on top of them. It just feels like the Spanish are able to look a little bit further up the course, whereas some of the other teams like GBR are just reacting a little bit more.
It's a SailGP flex as they got so close to you. I thought they might give it a high five.
Yeah, well, that was tight, but Hannah's point's bang on. I mean, I think any good sailing, it's to be proactive, not reactive. And that decision to manoeuvre there by the British, it was an odd place to manoeuvre because you know Spain are going to be over speed. You're just reacting to the situation. You're perhaps not playing the long game. And, well, Botín, he'll take advantage of it. But anyway, if you want a masterclass, here he comes, the crumpet.
The Bonds Flying Rouge, for the 2nd time today, they win race number 2. They take a break in race number 3, but race number 4 belongs to the green and gold. The Bonds Flying Rouge win race 4 here in Bermuda.
2 wins on a day, pretty good. But for the Bonds Flying Rouge, it's almost half a day's work.
After their clean sweep on Super Sunday, 2 out of 4 seems kind of pedestrian for them. 2nd place will go to Red Bull Italy. Great job by Phil Robertson and his crew.
Yeah, brilliant result by the Italians. Tough day with some technical issues on the boat, and we saw that dramatic incident before the start, but brilliant start by Phil. We know Phil's always got that in there. Great day for the US team as well here. Really, really good day for the US.
GBR looked like they would be threatening for a top 3 position. They drop back, and they will finish in 5th, with Spain taking 4th place. So a good, consistent day for Los Gallos. Emirates GBR will finish in 5th place, with Switzerland in 6th and Germany Deutsche Bank in 7th.
I can't help you with that debrief. My Spanish is not quite up to it. But what I would say is, for anyone that wants to know how do you get to finals in SailGP, it's that. They turned an 8th into a 4th. That's one of the performances of the day in that race, even though they're only 4th. Slingsby starting today has been incredible, and he seems to have unlocked some secret with his starting at the moment.
Just when we thought North Star Canada might be in the mix, they finished in 8th, and it'll be Rockwell, Denmark in 9th. And France, Tom Needham thrown into the deep end as DS Team France. They will finish in 10th.
They'll finish in 10th. They'll get a point, though. So, you know, they're grabbing points there. He's really done a great job of getting back into that. Nice job, Tom. That was impressive to jump on board in that situation.
So 4 great races here on day number 1 of the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix, and the Aussies take 2 of the 4s. We go down on the water. Tom Slingsby. Tom, congratulations. 2 out of 4 is not bad. Not as good as Rio, but 2 out of 4 will be pretty good. And you've got a co-owner on site as well, so you stepped up to the plate today, my friend.
Yeah, we had a good day in the end. It was a tough first race, but we're able to get back in it. And yeah, we're happy with a good day. It feels like we're in the hunt at the top. And yeah, it's great to have Ryan here supporting us. And yeah, he's a new member of our family, and it's been really nice getting to know him this week.
Well, he's very good to know, and he's also clearly in that almanac found out how to start. What have you changed in your starting, Tom? Because it's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know if I've changed much. It's honestly just a few tweaks here and there, and just always, like, no matter however we go, we're always looking to improve every day. Even after Rio, there's a lot of problems there that we can fix and improve. So yeah, just progressing every day, getting better every day.
Tom, appreciate the time. Congratulations, and I don't think you guys need to look for any cats today in Bermuda. I think you're in good shape.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. Thank you.
Let's take a look at the Emirates fly time. Goes the way of the Bonds Flying Roos. They were perfect, 100%, as the Aussies take 2 of 4 races today. What a performance. Nice work by them and the entire squad to take the lead here after 4 races. So 4 races down, and that just leaves Super Sunday. Here's how it stands right now. We are all even at top. The Bonds Flying Roos and the Spanish Los Gallos tied on 32 points. The US SailGP team hold down that 3rd and final spot that would get them into the event final. Germany Deutsche Bank knocking on the door with North Star Canada. And Emirates GBR still with a glimmer of hope. It's going to be a tough day tomorrow for Red Bull Italy, Explorer Swiss, and Rockwell Racing if they want any shot of getting into that final.
And as we take a look at the Rolex Precision athletes of the day, a really nice spread across the fleet of these athletes today. Giles Scott from North Star Canada in that 3rd start, pushing really hard, taking a lot of risk to try and win that start at the top end of the line. Nicole van der Velden and Joe Rodriguez from Los Gallos, so solid, so consistent for the day. And Ian Jensen, when the Bonds Flying Roos get ahead, their boat speed is really fantastic, no doubt, in no short way due to Ian Jensen's wing trimming.
Well, that's right. Of course, here we see this race start. The Rolex best time start when I went to the USA in race 1. It was perfect, 0.15 seconds behind the gun. He was on the money with that one.
Yeah, they were in the money, no question about it, all day long. Taylor Canfield and company doing a great job as we take a look at the DP World, the fastest speed of the day. How about this? Explorer Swiss getting it done, almost hitting triple digits. They go 97.66 kilometers per hour, so a great job by them to get that done. Well done, Sebastian Snyder, getting it done. We sit it down now on the water now before we say goodbye with Lisa Darmanin. And we send it down to Lisa.
Diego Botin. Diego, you guys are leading the day, but you said it doesn't look this easy out here.
No, it's definitely not. Especially after yesterday. Like when you put this wing in these boats, it gets so much harder to sail than with the 18-meter wing. So yeah, it was very hard to sail the boat today, but I think we split it really well the jobs, and the team did a very nice job to get the boat around the course.
And what's the trick to overtaking? You seem to be able to do it better than anyone else today.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, we're very focused just on us, and yeah, we felt that we were climbing positions every time. So yeah, I guess we were sailing the boat properly and getting good lines to let the boat go fast in all the traffic.
Awesome, thanks so much.
So that'll wrap things up for day number 1 of the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix. For Stevie Hanna and Lisa Darmanin, I'm Todd Harris. We'll see you tomorrow for Super Sunday. Welcome to scenic Bermuda. Sailing here is not for the faint of heart.
What a start by Canfield.
Flying Roos, a tense moment there.
Bonds Flying Roos are gone.
It's deja vu all over again.
Too risky by North Star, too risky.
Los Gallos take a bow.